It's time to share our March quilt of the month.
And we picked out a great one-block quilt that you'll be able to make in no time.
Hi, it's Donna Robertson.
And Hannah with Fabric Café.
One-block quilts are a great way to get a quilt done in a hurry. You can make the same block over and over again. You move it around and you get this fantastic design.
Oh yeah, so we thought we'd pick a one-block quilt for our March quilt of the month. So let's check out the pattern. This is our corner play pattern, and it is available as an individual or in the book pretty darn quick. Now this is a really fun pattern because it is a one block and you're making that block in two different colorways. Very simple. You start off with just a little strip assembly here, and then we just build off of that with additional strips to get this fun block. Here we have our first colorway, and then we have our second colorway right there, and you can see we just swapped out which fabrics were in which placement. It goes together really quick. You're gonna be able to get in the rhythm and make it up in no time. With the way you twist and turn your blocks, that's how you get this fun diagonal motif right here. It's really great. We've got lots of fun fabric for you, so let's check it out. Now, before we jump into this gorgeous fabric.
It is gorgeous.
We are going to step out how to make the blocks for this, so that way when you are making your quilt at home, you are totally prepared. So first off, we're gonna have a strip assembly, which is super simple. And it is just two long width of fabric strips that you sew together. So we have this nice long bit. And then we're gonna cut our units off of that.
Ta-da! You're through.
That's easy peasy.
I bet everybody out there is sitting there sewing and then they cut one and they go, ta-da!
Yeah, every time. Oh, look what I did. Oh. And this is gonna go right here on your block. That's gonna be your start. Then, really easy, you're just gonna build off of that by adding strips to it. So your first, we have a nice long strip of our fabric number 3. And I have it folded in half just so it fits a little bit better on the quilt, but you don't have to trim it down to size before you sew it on, which
nice.
I love.
Yes.
So that's gonna go right here next to it. And we do have seam allowances on and everything. After you sew a bunch of those, you're going to trim it even. You're gonna follow the same process, and you have strips of your fabric number 1 fabric. And that's gonna get sewn to the side like that, making this block. And then take another one, and it's gonna be sewn like that on this side.
That is so fun. That is such fun fabric.
And I do have a finished block so that you can see it with all the extra strips, because as you do it, you sew it on and you straighten it and everything so that it evens out. So that's gonna end up looking like, ta-da!
It is just so easy to assemble this block. It's like laying bricks or something. You just do it, and then it's just so easy to do, and you can get these blocks made in no time at all.
Oh yeah, especially with that center being a stripped unit, a strip assembly unit. It's just awesome. All right, so our second block is made exactly the same way, just with a different color. So we have our unit in the center. And then we take a strip of our focus fabric, and you'll sew that onto the side. Then you're gonna take your fabric number 2, and that's gonna go on the side here, and then on the side here.
Well, that is just so cool. So they have exactly the same center. So they make that unit, and then they use the 2 different fabrics to build the block. It just comes out so nice.
So easy. And then this block finished, and I love not having to cut all of the little rectangles and pieces that go with it. Being able to just cut those long strips saves you so much time. So you can see that is your secondary finished block.
That's
and
awesome.
This is your first. And you see they are built exactly the same way, just slightly different fabric combinations.
Right. And then the next row is just each of those same blocks, but they're just turned.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna go together very fast.
It does.
Which I love. I love how these match up. And so then when these units meet, you get a 4-patch right there, which is just so cool. It's like a design within a design.
It is great.
We get to talk about the fabric.
Our favorite part.
Yes. So our number one fabric, this is a beautiful batik, and it's got all these green leaves and like florals and swirls, maybe some fans.
Yeah, very,
motifs.
very natural. And I love the colors. The colors are so, they're kind of unusual and very attractive.
Yes, I agree. It has all of this nice contrast. And so this is our number one fabric, and it's gonna go everywhere you see this blue right here. So it'll be, as you can see, on the edge right there for one of our blocks, and in the center right there. Just so much fun. And then our number two, we went and we picked up this really light, kind of purpley pink that's in this bit right here and among our flowers. It's just a nice soft mottled texture.
It's just perfect to really help your other two fabrics just kind of pop off the surface of the design.
Yes, yeah, and it'll really help it show off. That is such a good point. That's gonna go everywhere you see, well, when you see this here, but where you see this gold right here, and you can see it's on the edge of this block right here. And then for our number three, we have a dark pinky kind of purple, because all of these colors, they are pink, but they're kind of purple.
Yeah.
You know, they have a little bit of a crossover. And it has these really nice stars on it that have some blue texture, some gray, some white, picking up all of these colors that you see in here.
You know, one of the things about the batiks now are that they're coming up with some really clever designs. Because in the very beginning, whenever I started working with batiks, they basically were pretty simple, just the stamping process, but they've just gotten so much more intriguing as they've gone along.
So intricate. Now this is gonna go everywhere you see this dark gold here, so it'll be on our border as well, and in the center. So we have a gorgeous image on the screen, you can see.
Wow.
That turned out so nice.
It did. I love that. I love those stars, the way that they almost, they makes the quilt look like it's twinkling.
Yes, it does. It's so much fun. And you mentioned that the light color for our number two really helps make you see the design when we're looking at fabric. And you really can. That diagonal movement is just popping off the top of the quilt.
That is a great looking quilt. I love that.
Pretty.
Yes, very pretty.
All right, the kit information for this one is Island Glow, and it's using the corner play pattern, which is available as an individual or in the book Pretty Darn Quick.
Okay, we have some more really fun fabric to show you on this. And this is just really, do you feel like that's a real modern looking spirograph?
Yeah,
it's really
feels like
cool.
an art. Ooh, even maybe like a spray paint art.
Ooh, yeah.
That's very cool. Lots of texture.
Yeah, I love what they're doing with fabrics. I mean, it just gets more and more interesting. And I want to share a little secret about the quilt that we've chosen for the quilt of the month.
Yes, please do.
Whenever I designed this pattern, it was because the magazine Modern Quilts, I was good friends with Carol Zentgraf, who was the editor of it, and she came into our booth at one of the shows, and she said, "Donna, you need to do a pattern for Modern Quilts." And so I was like, "Oh, wow." I mean, I was so honored.
Yeah, how exciting.
And so I just tried to come up with something that had kind of a unique design to it that would appeal to the more modern quilters. And so I came up with this. They had the rights for a year, and then it returned to us, and it became one of our most popular patterns.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fabrics that we see here, let's talk about those. They're absolutely gorgeous, and we were talking about how it might look like a spray painting or something like that.
Yeah, there's spirograph like you mentioned. Yeah.
And this is going to be our number one fabric, which we always consider the focus fabric. And the number one fabric on this one is going to be here where we have the blue. And it's going to look fantastic. It is going to look so good in this quilt.
I love all the colors. It's so fun.
And then our number two fabric, as we said earlier, that is our fabric that we're going to use for the kind of the background of the design of the quilt. And that's the way we write all of our patterns, so that you always know you want that one to be contrasting with the others. If you have a lighter 1 and 3, you could put a darker in the number 2. We're always playing with those positions too.
That's true. That would be fun.
Okay, so the number 2 fabric is going to go everywhere that you see this lighter color, and that's going to really get those blocks to stand out. Then our number 3 fabric, and isn't this cool? It's really going to pick up all the blues in this.
Yes.
And it's going to be, we always kind of call the number 3 fabric our accent color. It usually it kind of grounds the quilt. It's the darkest normally, and it kind of grounds the quilt so that while you're looking at it, it's kind of framed like a nice picture.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So that's our number 3. It's going to go in the border as well as in these positions here. So I really like that, but let's show them an image.
Yes.
Because this is too fun.
Oh, I love that blue is so delicious. I
is.
love it so much.
And I like the way that all of those colors, you know, it's almost like you're looking at a watercolor. We were talking a spray paint, but it almost looks like it's a watercolor. Or like pieces of glass, you know, like the sea glass or something like that.
And there's so many other colors going on in it that it almost looks like you used more than one fabric right there.
You're right, it does, because it varies so much. You know, when you look at one section or another section of the fabric, it really does look like you've got many, many more in there. It would be a great scrappy quilt, too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, oh, yeah. That would be great.
And as always, we are offering a special deal for our Quilts of the Month. We are offering 10% off the downloadable pattern of Corner Play. There is a code on the screen you can see right there. The deal runs from today until the end of March. So it's a great time. Go over there, get your pattern, and get started on your Quilt of the Month.
Absolutely. And if you love this quilt as much as we do, this particular kit is called Electric Confetti, perfect name, and it's using the Corner Play Quilt of the Month pattern.
Now, talking about modern design, we got a modern quilt, and we're going to go really modern with our quilt kit.
This is going to be fun.
I
can't wait to see the image.
I have been really into this color combination lately. I guess I always have been, but now that I'm making quilts, I guess I feel like it's more obvious because I'm like, ooh, I want black and white and pink, or black and white and red. I want, all these bold colors.
That's great.
So for our number 1, we have this really fun textural stripe. So it's got multi-size stripes in it, and then it's got some dots in there, and it's got some weathered texture on here. There's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening. I mean, it's like a stripe with all these different patterns, and it just makes it just keep moving. Your eye just keeps moving looking at it. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And so that's going to be our number 1 fabric, and it'll be everywhere you see this teal. Then for our number 2, we have this black and white, and it kind of looks like stitches.
You can almost see threads on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are the scissors?
So fun. It's so fun. It gives so much movement and texture to it. So it has a lot of contrast with our number 1, but it also has a lot of interest. So that's going to go everywhere you see this little cream texture here.
It's almost like thread art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's a great, you could make your own, test out all of the stitches on your machine, and you can get a fabric like that. And then for our number 3, we have this black with all of these kind of paint splatters, which matches some of this weathered texture that's on our focus. And it's all in these multi-colors, which I love. It's just all these little pops.
That is a very interesting fabric, number 3. It really is, because it has that really dark, you know, framing accent color that we're talking about. But it has those little bits of color tied all together. I like that.
It elevates it a little. So that's going to go everywhere you see this gold here. This one, it's very near and dear to my heart because I love this kind of style. But you can see from the image on the screen, it looks so good.
It does. And it's interesting, too, that your stripes are going in different directions on the fabric. And then what it looks like once you get that quilt put together, it is phenomenal.
And that's a good point about the stripes, too. So your stripes will land where you need them to land just with how the pattern is written. So you don't have to worry about that. And I kind of like that they're going different directions.
Oh, yeah. And there's no matching up of stripes.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. I like that design. That's cool. Be sure that you stay tuned till the end today because we're going to show you photos of your amazing quilts from our January Quilt of the Month challenge.
Yeah, and there are some really great ones in there.
There are. So be sure to stay tuned.
Mm-hmm. All right, the kit information for this particular one is Pink Noir, and it is the corner play pattern from the Pretty Darn Quick book.
Another pretty fabric. Mm-hmm. You know, Fran and I always said we rarely ever meet a fabric we don't fall in love with.
Which can be very dangerous.
It really can be, but I'm sure none of you do the same thing. Mm-hmm. You probably do the same thing.
All of us keep our fabric stashes neat and tidy.
But I mean, Fran started going into the fabric store with me when she was in a carriage. What do you call it? Stroller. A stroller. Because I have just always been an avid fabric person. Mm-hmm. So let's look at this gorgeous fabric as well. Now this, I mean, I love to play with paint. Mm-hmm. And this looks like something I might paint because I'd put mediums down and whenever I paint, I really have no objective except that I want to have fun with some squirt and mix and paint.
Which is awesome. I love that. Yeah, that's how I paint too.
Yeah, I love the mediums because it really does change the texture of the paint and has it flowing different ways, and that's what that reminds me of.
That's awesome. You're so right.
So pretty.
It's beautiful.
So I really like that. So that's going to be our number one fabric, and our number one fabric is the focus, so it's going to be the main part of our block out here. And then our number two that's going to do its job so beautifully in that kind of an aqua color. That is perfect for this. This combination is just perfect.
With little touches of blue.
Yeah, and it's just picking up the greens that are in here as well as the blues. And this number two fabric is going to be the background so you can see your design. And look at this number three. Now that is one yummy number three.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, and it looks kind of watercolory, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it keeps that paint kind of feel.
Right, and it's going to be that accent color as well as on the border of the quilt. Now let's look at an image of how this one turned out. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, it's so pretty. It's kind of, it's moody and elegant all at the same time. It's so gorgeous.
Yes, it's almost like a stormy day, which I personally love.
Yeah, which is the perfect time to wrap up with a quilt.
Absolutely, absolutely. I like it a lot, and I think it's going to be one of my favorites. I really do. Now, this kit is called Enchanted Cove. It is the corner play pattern from the book Pretty Darn Quick.
So we're taking a bit of a turn, and we are going with a very sweet kit.
Yeah.
Which I love because any 3 yards works in any one of our patterns.
And it just changes the whole personality of the quilt.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I love that. The personality of the quilt. So we're gonna go really soft and sweet for this one. And we have these beautiful like bouquet bunches on a soft pink background. And that's gonna be everywhere you see this dark teal. And then for our number two, we actually went with some words. So it's teal that picks up all of these teal leaves in our focus. And it's all these just sweet little encouraging words and phrases. And it's kind of like a stripe.
Yeah, it is a stripe. Yeah.
So just like we saw earlier, your stripe is going to fall exactly where it needs to. And it's going to be here in our background. So you're going to get all of this encouragement on your quilt.
And I have to comment on this because I know I've told the story about how when I was like 5 or 6 that my bedspread was a what we call a cheater cloth now. It was a printed quilt and it was little bitty squares. And I hated taking naps because I didn't want to sleep. I wasn't interested in missing any part of life. And I would lie there on my bed and I would trace out the quilt pattern.
Oh.
And so I guess I was a quilter in training or something. But I also was a little Miss Smarty Pants and knew how to read. So I'd probably be reading it if it was on my
And this is the perfect, they can practice, tracing their letters.
So if you have a little one, you want them to take a nap, this might be the perfect quilt for that.
give them a little something to do. They'll get tired from reading. All right, now our number 3 is a darker pink, so it picks up all of these dark pinks that are in a focus. And it has these adorable diamonds, but they're built with flowers and butterflies. They're so cute.
Oh, they are.
I love it. And so that's going to be everywhere you see this gold, so it's going to look really good on that border.
Absolutely. I like
awesome.
that.
So let's go ahead and take a look at that image.
Oh,
and
fun.
It's so cute. And I also really like, we've been showing a lot of really light backgrounds, and this one is really light, but it's also a color. It has a nice, good pop. So if you want to do a color in your background, that is A-okay.
Absolutely. You just want that contrast.
Right, exactly. So yeah, as long as it pops up against the other ones, you're good to go.
And it's good because it has contrast, but it also coordinates well with the leaves that are in the focus fabric. So it's pretty cool.
All right, this kit is called Peony Dreams, and it's using the corner play pattern.
Okay, we got some more great batiks.
Yes.
I like batiks.
Yes, and this pattern really lends itself to batiks, I think.
It does. In fact, the very first time I made this one, I made it with batiks. And the quilt I was covered up with while I was reading this morning was a batik. I am a batik girl now, even though in the beginning I didn't know what to do with them. I learned. Okay, so our number 1 fabric, our focus fabric, is this wonderful, what would you call that, kind of cranberry?
Yeah.
Kind of a cranberry reddy pink color. And it has all those swirls in it. This is a very classic batik, the way that this one's
textural.
Right, very textural, where we had those other ones that were very interesting and a little more modern in their composition. I really liked them. But then we've got this cranberry color put with a white with a little bitty dot on it, this kind of a cranberry dot. And I like that.
It adds a lot of interest to your number 2. So there's still something going on there.
I bet this is going to be a dynamic quilt whenever we show that image. Okay, and then we have our number 3 fabric, and our number 3 is this yummy, yummy blue batik. I mean, what's not to love about that?
That's gorgeous.
It's got that midnight blue in the background, and then it's got that lighter blue. What would you call that blue?
Kind of like an electric blue?
Electric blue, that's perfect, yeah. So a nice thing about this one is it's red, white, and blue. So let's show you an image because I'm sure it'll spark all kinds of ideas for you with what you can do with this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of looks like a firework going on in that red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And with that blue little floral there. And it has such a nice contrast between that blue and that red.
Yes, I really like that because it almost like makes it look like a totally different design.
Yes, I was just thinking that square in the center, like the 4-patch, and then the framed 4-patch is really prominent with this color combination.
It's so much fun when you look at our 3-yard quilts and you see what a dramatic difference it makes whenever you change the fabrics up. And this one is really nice. So it would work great for our 4th of July. It would work great for a patriotic. It would be great for a man or a woman. So,
fall-themed Christmas.
Yeah.
This one has a lot going for it.
It has a lot going for it. It's called Firework Blooms, and it's the corner play pattern quilt of the month.
Now, like we mentioned earlier, we've got some amazing photos from you of our January quilt of the month, which was Arcade. So let's take a look at what Mary sent us. And oh my goodness, that focus fabric she used is gorgeous.
It is. Wow.
It's this butterfly wing print. And she said that she made this for a friend who is a teacher. And her friend has monarch butterflies in her classroom. And, the students learn about the butterflies, caterpillars and things. I just love that.
That is awesome.
So sweet. What a very sweet gift.
It was. Well, the next quilt is from Carrie. And wow, is that fun? I love it. She said she used 5 different fabrics.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can see both her borders.
Yeah, so you can 3-yard quilts are just a jumping off spot, and obviously Carrie got it, and she jumped off into 5 yards using this one.
This is awesome.
So both of her borders are using different fabrics. She made the center out of her 3 yards, and she has super cute cats for her focus fabric.
They're
Look
so
at that.
cute.
So precious.
So
Thank
whimsical.
you, Carrie. Yes.
All right, now we have Carol, who sent in this really beautiful quilt with these rich fall colors. And I think maybe there's a touch of metallic. I can't really tell from the image, but it does have this, it has this little sheen to it, I think, which is very nice. And she got Carrie's notice, and she also added more fabrics. She added an additional fabric for her second border.
And if you haven't checked it out, we have a free goodies button, and we have instructions for how to measure and add borders to your quilt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a great tip.
Now, Stephanie sent in the next one, and look at this. She made 2 different crib quilts out of the arcade. They are so precious.
They're so cute.
And she said she used the same focus fabrics in both. Wow. But then she switched it up with there's red in one and blue in the other. I really like that. And they're so precious. They're like little miniature versions of the arcade. It looks great, Stephanie. Thanks for sharing it.
And then Margie, she got funky too.
Whoa.
She used a layer cake in the center of her blocks, which is so much fun. And look at how she changed up her sashing on her block B.
Wow.
She added additional strips in there, which it makes it look like a stained glass almost.
Like a modern art stained glass.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
I love that. I love all of the color selections in that and all of those diagonals that she's got going on with the quilt.
Y'all inspire us so much. Now, Anita, she went a little different. She gave us a soothing, beautiful colors. Oh, it is
so nice.
Pretty. I like that. Now, I'm a blue person, so that one does very much appeal to me. And she's used a soft floral fabric. Great job, Anita. Thanks so much.
Great contrast. Now, Kristen, she's made the arcade pattern 3 different times.
And each one looks a little different.
And she added an extra column on 2 of them. So she made it a little bit bigger.
Oh, okay.
And Kristen said that she will be donating all of these quilts to Quilts for Kids, which is really awesome. We thank you so much, Kristen, for making these quilts and donating them. You guys all have such big hearts. It's so sweet to see.
Now, Eileen used some bright, fun colors for hers. Now, it's made for a paramedic who assisted her when she broke her ankle.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my, I hope your ankle's doing better.
Me too.
She must have been able to push on that.
That's true. Yeah, hopefully it wasn't your right ankle if
you can only run your gas pedal with.
Yeah.
Well, we get a little sidetracked there, Eileen, but we are happy that you are so generous-hearted that you would make that for the paramedic. How sweet is that? Thank you.
And then Holly made this one for her grandson who loves video games. And her #1 fabric is all of these controllers. And it's multicolor. We got some green, gray, this kind of tealy blue. And then she paired it with a teal and a navy. So I'm sure your grandson loved it. And it's so cute.
That is so cute. Great job. Kathleen used a striped fabric for her #3, and it adds so much fun and movement. Look at that. It just changes the look of the quilt again. We design 3-yard quilts, but we are continually amazed at what y'all do with them because they are just incredible. And thank you so much, Kathleen, for showing us an example with the striped fabric for your #3.
All right, now we have even more photos to share from some of our previous challenges. We've got some great ones from our Garden Path challenge. I love all of the fabric combinations are so different from one another. It's so much fun seeing all of your different interpretations and getting all of the ideas from you. And Cheryl used a stripe too, which is lots of fun in that pattern.
Absolutely. We also have some photos from It's a Snap Challenge that you'll want to check out. The quilt pattern has so much movement. I love how it looks when you put a bright color in the background.
Oh,
it
yeah.
just changes the whole story. And Stacy used more than 3 fabrics too. It's always fun to see how you change up patterns that way.
How you make it your own and really make it exciting, which is awesome. And we love seeing what all of you make so much. It's so encouraging to see all of the quilts you're making. And I love when they tell us a little bit too about what they're making it for, you know, who they made it for, where it's gonna end up, if it's being donated. It's great.
It just makes it makes us feel like we're a part of your story. And
Yeah.
so we thank you for that.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to send us pictures of your quilts, just send them to welisten@fabriccafe.com.
And if you would like to see what some of our other one-block quilt patterns are, be sure to watch the video that pops up.
Happy quilting!